world out there. And it's getting tougher all the time. And the world is not going to change.
Hello? Is anybody here?
It's you that has to change.
Something amazing happened.
I know you've been wanting to do this movie for a long time. I want to know why this legend and why with a modern twist.
Well, I'd never seen this story told in the modern world before, and it seemed to me that there are elements of it that are so famous. The Sword in the Stone, the Lady in the Lake, the Round Table, Merlin. Even if you don't know the details of the King Arthur story, everybody knows those famous devices. And then I'd never seen it transferred to modernity. And then the myth takes on all these interesting aspects when you make it modern. Because King Arthur arrived in a divided Britain where all the different tribes were warring, and there are some parallels with the world then and the world now. And also the comedy that comes from the idea of modern kids having to go on a quest. Can they walk further than a mile? Can they deal with it if they don't get reception on their phones? Can they ride horses? Can they wear armor? Can they battle? Can they unite together, put their differences aside and overcome the forces of evil? It felt like there was loads of fun to be had.
This movie is quite educational. I want to know if it was the values first and then the arc of the story, or the other way around.
Well, when I look for ideas, I try and find an idea where there's a theme embedded in it. So I made a movie called Attack the Block that was about young street kids fighting aliens. And it felt like you could do two things at once. You could say something a little bit socio-political about the status of those kids, and also present to the audience an exciting action-adventure movie. The same with this, it felt there was a little bit of a message and a chance to communicate a positive message about young people's ability to change the world, but while doing it, also give the audience a funny, exciting, thrilling, spectacular adventure.
You've been implicated all the way because you had a really specific vision. What was the day that you remember the most on set or of the whole process?
Well, every day was a thrill because this is a dream of mine to make this movie, so to walk onto set and see it coming alive was incredible. But I suppose the bigger scenes, there's a big battle sequence at the end of the movie where 250 kids dressed in armour defend their school from a siege by undead medieval knights. And to see hundreds of kids in armour on this big rooftop set, to see them all choreographed in the fighting was incredible. I had to sort of, I had to be very grown up and serious and realise I was here to do a job. But inside me, the 12-year-old Joe was going, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
How was landing Patrick Stewart?
Well, that was amazing. You know, the cool thing about Patrick is he was in one of the movies that inspired this movie. He was in John Boorman's Excalibur, one of the knights that fails to pull the sword from the stone. So to have him playing Merlin was incredible. I'm a massive fan of him. To get to meet him, you know, I went to his house and we discussed the script and we discussed how to make Merlin different. And you know, it's a real honour to get to have him in my film.
The five of us won't stand a chance on our own. We need to raise an army. Who will join us?
How humiliating.
This is instead of lessons today.